Hi, welcome back to Introduction to Program. This is Unit 1, Module 0, Lesson 3. Today we're going to look at the Scratch Studio and we're going to talk about how to critique somebody else's work. So the first thing is the Scratch Studio. This is where we can share projects with other people and also create a set of projects for us to share together as a class. The studios are a collection of these projects, and we're going to look at how to add a project to a Scratch Studio. So we're going to add it to the Scratch Studio Surprise. So your Scratch Surprise project is going to be added to this studio right here. Let me see if I can zoom in on that. So it's 460431. So when you sign into your Scratch account, up here at the top in the address bar, you're going to type in the studio and the number that we want for this is the 460431. 460431. So this is a public studio. You can see there's over 100 projects here. And you're going to add your project by clicking on Add Projects. And down here at the bottom of the screen, you're going to see a listing of all your projects that you have shared. So this was my Scratch Surprise. I'm going to click Add, and that adds it to the studio. And you can see my name's there. And we can delete a project by clicking Delete. Now you can also add it by the URL, by cutting and pasting in the URL. If it's not shared, then the project will not be allowed to show up here. Also, if you have not confirmed your email address, you won't be allowed to do this. The program won't allow it. So what I would like you to do is pause the video and share your video, your project, your Scratch Surprise project in the Scratch Surprise Studio. So I'll leave the address up here at the top so you can pause and find the address. Okay, right here. Pause and add your project. Okay, welcome back. So now that we've added that project, the next thing we're going to talk about is how to critique somebody else's work. I have a very specific plan for this, and you can find it in Blackboard under the critique group. So it's in Unit 1, Scratch, Module 0, Lesson 3, Critique Group. By the way, you can also get to that Scratch Studio we talked about in the last part of the video by opening this in a new tab. You can see it takes us to the Scratch Studio. So if you couldn't get that link to work, there's the direct link for it. So we're going to now click on the Critique Group, and when you click on it, it's going to open up a Microsoft Word document and ask you to save it. Please save it in a My Documents folder, and in that folder put a name for Introduction to Programming. So we're going to find the My Documents folder. Well, I may not have a My Documents folder. I actually use Dropbox, so I'm going to go into Dropbox. But you'll have a My Documents folder, and I have it organized by school year, courses, Introduction to Program, and units of study, Unit 1, Module 0. See, I have this really nice organized. Unit 1, Module 0, Lesson 3. So I'm going to save this there. Since I'm using Chrome, it shows up right down here, and I can click on it and open up the document. You may have to click this Enable Editing button up here to allow you to type into the document. So this is our project, our critique group. paper, you're going to write who this is feedback for, if it's a particular student, so you would put their username there, the title of the project, and then we're going to give feedback. Now, normally this feedback is given to 3 different people. You're only going to fill in the first row. You're not going to fill it in, but if you were getting feedback from another group of people, you'd have one for each person who's giving you feedback. There are 3 boxes here. Let me zoom in a little bit. We have the red box listing something that doesn't work or could be improved inside this box. So you would type that into this box. The way you would type that into the box is you could insert a text box in Microsoft Word. And I just like to draw the text box, so I'm going to draw it in here. Great. And I could change the font so it's a little smaller, just to make it so everything fits nicely in the box. Cool. And I would type my response. So there we go. Did not run. That would be a pretty important thing that needs to be improved. So you would say did not run. But how did it not run? When clicked on green flag. So maybe that's something that really is pretty serious with the program that improved or doesn't work. So then yellow, what is something that is confusing or could be done differently? So something in the program that could be handled in a different way. So maybe the way they're supposed to start the program is by clicking on the cat, and instead they should be clicking on the green flag, or do both, click on the cat or click on the green flag. So that could be something that we could change. And then what is something that works well that you really like about the project? Maybe you really like the color scheme, or you really think there's something very cool that is done in the project. Be very specific here. When you're filling out this critique, you need to fill out all 3 boxes. So we would have text boxes drawn into all 3 of these. So we'll put a text box in all 3 of them, and we would have our text written inside each one of those boxes with our feedback for the person. Now we could also print this out and do it by hand, but since we're submitting this project digitally, you have the project who it's for, so maybe Mr. Tom McLaughlin, because that's my username, and the project title, maybe it was my Scratch Surprise project, and I can't see my text. There we go. It was in red. SCRATCH surprise. Okay. And then I would save this in my documents. And then I'm going to submit it in black. So I'm going to go back to using my breadcrumbs. By the way, if you hit the little dot dot, you can see the whole list. I'm going to go back to lesson 3. And the assignment is here at the bottom, your critique from the Scratch Studio. You are to choose one project from anywhere in the Scratch Studios. You could choose it from the Scratch Surprise, but you could choose it from the Explore in Scratch. So if you look at Scratch and go back to the home page, you can see that they have an Explore section, featured projects, anywhere, any one of these. Pick one project. Don't spend a whole lot of time looking for this. Pick one project, fill out the critique form, and click on the assignment. Then attach the file. So we're going to hit Browse My Computer, and I'm going to go to my Dropbox, because that's where I have mine. Yours will probably be in your documents. Wherever you save it, make sure it's organized. And we are on lesson 3, and there's my critique group. Sometimes it's nice to rename this with your initials, just in case I want to download it and save it. So I'm going to put my initials TM in there. it's still open. That's why it won't let me do that, but we'll close that. There we go. So you put your initials in, rename it when it's not open, and then just click open, and it'll attach it in here. You can see, and then you just hit submit, and the project will be submitted to me, and then I can grade it. So work on that, and I will see you next time in Introduction to Programming. Thanks. Bye.